everybody. I am so super excited to be here with a good sister girl pal, someone who is out here planting good seeds, salt and light to the earth. And my friend, that's one great thing about media and the internet. You can reach across the pond, you can reach across the country and meet like-minded professionals. So I have been so blessed meet my new sister girlfriend, Miss Denise Renee here, who is an author, an editor, and a book writing coach. I love everything she stands for, and I think she has some great information and feedback to make you think about things differently, about how to leverage your thought leadership. Most of us don't think we have thought leadership, but we do. And she is the person that helps us to put it together for us to use to be our best selves and to release our greatest potential. So, Miss Denise, how are you?
I am well, Miss Davina. How are you?
Just excited to rub shoulders and create community. So
Awesome.
happy for you to be here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Tell me a little bit about what you do.
Well, I'm every woman. It's okay. Legit, that used to be my theme song in college, but I decided to hang up the superwoman cape. But I do a lot. I do have a lot of different gifts and talents, but lately I have just been focusing and concentrating them in the writing and writing educational space and helping people with their books, specifically working with Gen X and millennial professionals, helping them to write books that share their thought leadership and their expertise and helps to grow their visibility and grow their brand so that whether you are moving into entrepreneurship, whether you are looking for your next consulting gig or freelancing gig, or you're looking for your next VP role, C-suite role, whatever it is, that book can help really fast track you in people's minds as a thought leader, as an expert, I think a lot faster than a viral post on LinkedIn can.
That's important. Thank you for showing us the difference between the two there. In your intro, you said something interesting that I think a lot of us, I call us boss babes, ambitious powerhouse women deal with. And I notice a lot of folks get stuck here is you said you're multifaceted, multi-talented. How did you get down to the point of writing and authoring specifically?
So what had happened was, I like to joke around that I have been writing ever since I can hold a crown. But as an early reader, and it's really funny because my mom had the hardest time getting me to read, but she got me reading rather early. And by the time I was in first grade, and I was 5 years old in the first grade, I was already reading at a third grade level. So, um, so as just, getting into writing, getting into reading, and I started writing, I think I wrote my first short story when I was about 8 or so. And I just always, it was kind of like me wanting to recreate what I was experiencing. And as someone who, like, my sister is at the very top of Gen X, so our age gap is 7 years. So when you're 5 years old and your older sister is 12, that is a world away. We were in two different, yes, we were in two different worlds. So, and then I grew up in New York City as a latchkey kid. So I was alone a lot. So it was me. It was Gemini holograms. It was the Transformers. It was the GoBots. It was all of them. And it was my books. Right. So that was my world. And I just kind of like wanted to recreate that world. When I got into high school, I started writing poetry. When I got into college, I extended that to writing music because music is like another passion of mine. And I always thought and knew that writing English, my English degree would be the thing that I would build my career on. At one point, I thought I wanted to be in advertising. At another point, I thought I wanted to be in the publishing world. And interestingly enough, all of my little roundabout circuitous paths have actually gotten me to advertising by way of learning copywriting and gotten me
Okay.
into publishing by way of self-publishing. So not the traditional route. Nothing about me is traditional route, but it's just been that thing that's been constant and consistent throughout my career. I did start off as a high school English teacher, and then I moved into higher education, and then I moved into corporate doing other things. But again, writing and communication was always a part of that. And then I moved into entrepreneurial spaces, and long story short, here I am.
I love it. The key thing, it sounds like, is you gotta sometimes put your fingers in different holes. These traditional trajectories
They
aren't so
don't.
traditional anymore, and
Yeah.
that's okay.
Yeah. And it doesn't always, and I finally at 51, almost 52, I'm finally embracing the fact that, girl, you are a creative. And for a long time, I kind of beat myself up because I was like, I don't have like the traditional path,
Yep.
career path. I really told myself I didn't have a career. And I'm like, are you okay? And I finally figured out how to reframe it. And I'm like, the through line has always been writing. The through line has always been that creativity. No matter what I've done, writing has been a key part of it. Inside of corporate, outside of corporate, in the entrepreneurial,
Mm.
spaces and ventures that I've been a part of, writing has been the thing. So
So it's the constant.
for me, it's been a constant.
Okay. Okay. That's really helpful because even creatives, there needs to be some defining line or some foundation that we could move from. So, and speaking about thought leadership, what does that look like for a creative? Because I think when our minds think thought leadership, we're thinking of CEOs or engineers or very specialized careers or work paths, but creatives are also thought leaders.
They are.
Can you share what that looks like and how that could be packaged?
So I like to joke that I see the world through book colored glasses. So I think everything can be put into a book. um,
Love it.
but I think in terms of thought leadership, I think in terms of and creative, I also want to kind of make a little slight deviation. Creative doesn't only mean the traditional performative arts like
Mm,
writing or dancing or filmmaking or like drawing, painting, pottery, that kind of thing. Like those are the classical arts. Um, but you can be a creative in mathematics. You can be a creative in science. You could be a creative in all these different fields because and to me, I really think scientists are like creative because you have to think on a whole other different level that
absolutely.
is not my ministry. Right? It's got to be somebody else's ministry. But for the practitioners who are doing the classical creative arts, it's
Mm,
really about how you do what you do. There are some people who are going to want to know, they want to get into what it is that you do. Like in my head, I'm a fantastic dancer, honey. You can give me an 8 count and I will pick it up. I will boom cat. Okay?
boom cat.
Boom cat.
Yes.
Okay? If you know, you know. Okay? If you grew up
Yep.
on Lorianne Gibson, you going boom cat cat. Okay? So
Yes.
right? But I'm not a dancer. Right? I love music, right? I'm a musician. I love music. I love to sing and all that kind of good stuff. And, because I've got the rhythm, I can move, whatever, right? I can pick up a little A count, but I'm not dancing on Broadway. You don't want to see me perform. Right? But I love to move, right? And so I will go to dance classes because I just love it. Like I want to learn. And so sometimes for creatives, it's just sharing what it is that you do because there are people who want to learn and they want to learn from you. And then there's other ways in which you can take even, something like movement and dance, and it can be morphed into other things. It could be morphed into self-defense. It could be morphed into health and wellness. And so there, if you look outside of just the traditional ways that money has been made in the classical arts or the creative arts or the sciences or whatever, we are at a point in time where we have to look at things very differently because the old economic models are gone with the wind, fabulous. Okay.
There you go.
Now twirl, twirl. All right.
None of
So you have to think about different ways to put yourself out there and to repackage and to rebrand yourself. What else can you do with those skills? What else can you do
mm,
with your knowledge base? And who can you help? How can you help them in a very human way so that can't AI can maybe assist you, maybe in helping you get the word out or whatever, but it can't replace you. Can't do what
that's
you
right.
do. So that was a circuitous answer to your question about
I
how
love that you
creatives can
talked
be thought leaders. Mhm.
yes, I love how you talked about the science aspect of it. I feel like a lot of conversations are science and arts are at odds with each other. Right, right. Very important. So, as let's say I'm coming in and I've been working different places and I want to pivot, I want to go in a different direction. What would be the first step in packaging myself as a thought leader?
I like to tell people to start just communicating who you are and what you do. Because at the core of any type of exchange, any type of monetary exchange, it's having people know who you are, trust that you're able to do what you say you can do. And so it's that, know, like, and trust, right?
No, like and trust. Yep.
So content is the way these days to put yourself out there, right? People they don't go looking for your website first anymore. They're looking for your socials.
Right.
Are you on YouTube? Are you on LinkedIn? Are you on TikTok? Are you on Instagram? I don't know if they ask you if you're on Facebook or not. Are you on X? Right? Are you on any of these platforms? Okay, then people go and research. They look through your content to get a sense of who you are and what you talk about and how you've been displaying. And one of the things that I've learned through my experience is that if you can't beat the algorithm for, going viral and catching people's attention, you can always leave a lasting impression in people's minds when you are consistent. If they could look back and see 1 year, 2 years, 3 years of your podcast or, 3 years of you posting consistently, that gives people a sense of trust when they go and they research you. So it may not be like, thousands and thousands of people flooding into your profile every single day, but when they do get there, when they are specifically looking for you, you've got this history that you can display. Something else, let's say you don't have 2, 3 years of, Instagram photos to scroll through. Well, guess what? In a couple of weeks, you could write a book. It's on Amazon. It's on Barnes and Nobles. It's Oh, you wrote a book? Cuts through the noise instantly. And
Absolutely.
that's why I'm so like, you can package what you know and you don't have to write war and peace. Okay. It doesn't have to be 700, 800 pages. You can just write very succinctly a nice 50 to 70 page book on one very specific topic, helping people with one specific thing. And if you have
Mhm.
multiple ideas, you have multiple books, right? And the more books that you have, the more you increase the opportunity for discovery of who you are, and the more opportunities you have for increasing the sales in the book. And if you structure your book right, especially if you're writing a nonfiction business book with the goal of attracting new clients or attracting high level
Mhm.
networking, all you need to sell it is to a handful of the right people, and then your next opportunities start coming to you. So, girl, I can talk about that forever.
I love it. These are very juicy nuggets for sure. So, then my last question is how does writing a book help someone who is still in regular career path, still in the corporate space? Totally get and can conceptualize how that helps entrepreneurs and business folks, but how does it help professionals?
It can definitely put you on in places and stages. Think about all of the different, corporate, what do you call them? Conferences that happen in a specific space.
Mhm.
I remember going to a whole lot of Salesforce, like little regional things, man, and drinking the daggone Kool-Aid.
Mm.
Like coming out with,
Yeah.
learning the latest software and just like, oh, you want it, but it's Salesforce. So, they're about to hit you with the $5,000 a month, right? Because Salesforce is just
Right.
like, what kind of prices are you charging? And they're like enterprise level charge prices.
Yeah.
And
Right, right. They don't bat an eye.
ants. So, um, but but for all these little workshops and things like that, these are people at other companies and corporations, and they're coming, they're sharing their knowledge. Well, how did they get there? A lot of times they got reached out to because they were visible. Some of those people had books. Some of those people had strong presences on LinkedIn or a strong network. A book is something that helps. I mean, when I was looking a couple years ago, before I had published my book, I was looking to speak at different events, and everything that I was applying for, they were like, "Do you have a book?" And I was like, "Do you have a
Right.
book?" And I was like, "Do you have a book?" All right, never mind. I'll come back when I
That
have a
part.
book. Okay, I'll come back when I have
That's
a book.
right.
So it is just
Yes.
something that can just really fast track your the building of your brand. And literally just having a book, just telling people you are an author and there's a link where they can go and buy it, whether or not they buy it in that moment, just elevated you instantly in their mind. And I have definitely seen this work out well for people. The most recent example I could think of is a woman that I had on my podcast last year, and um she had been speaking, she had been doing a lot of speaking and things and just building her network around herself and around her skills. And then she finally wrote her book and she published her book last year. And I caught her on my podcast when she had just published the book. And so in that year's time, I'm like, I'm ready to call her back to do a round two, do a second version of the interview because she's just been blowing up all over the place. And if I feel like her book has just like, took her into this, like it just amplified everything that she was doing. And so sometimes when people feel like, oh, I haven't been, especially as employees, and I'm going to bring that back around. So if you're an employee, and you feel like, well, I'm not an expert. I haven't been in this field for 10 years, 10, 15 years. If you are, let's say, a Gen Z, right? You just got here you now just like they come for Gen X, or they just erase Gen X for the conversation. But
Right.
Gen Z, they come in for Gen Z's neck hard, right? So if you are someone in Gen Z who is somebody who is you're very conscientious about what you do, you're very communicative, whatever, you could be documenting your journey, and that in and of itself is valuable as you start to just share your experiences. You can share them, by bl- uh, blogging or vlogging on LinkedIn or on YouTube. Um, as you share your experiences, and you don't have to position yourself as an expert, people are going to see you as an expert any old way because you're sharing what you're doing. You're sharing what you're learning. And as you continue in your career in 2 years, 3 years, you're going to write a different type of a book because now you'll have some experience in
Mm.
something in particular. Let's say you're mid career, you are millennial or you are a Gen Xer. You've had 20, 30 years in the workforce. You have plenty of things that you could be talking about. And it could be that thing that is now, as we're getting older and we're trying to find more jobs and we're dealing with ageism, we're dealing with
Mhm.
ghost jobs, we're dealing with, don't be a black woman, don't be a black woman right now. Okay. We are
That's
enemy
right.
number one, right? And so you have all of these things that make things harder. It doesn't mean it's impossible. And that is the one thing that I reluctantly appreciate about this country, because even though pull yourself up by your bootstraps is just diabolical, it can be done. It can be
Love it.
done. You can pull yourself up by your bootstraps, and it can start with your phone, right? Start by recording videos, start by recording a podcast, start by writing your book, right? And
That's good.
learn how to package yourself, learn how to promote yourself, learn how to uh, one uh feedback that I literally got 2 hours ago, right? I get this feedback a lot about my content. I love your content. I love that you're consistent, whatever, da, 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 blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, that's great. I need I need to get out of 100 video view jail. Okay. I
Oh
need
my
to
gosh,
get out of
yes.
2 likes
YouTube, come
jail. Right.
on. YouTube,
So
yeah.
when I'm like, okay, I'm glad that I am consistent. I'm glad that when people come and literally they're impressed with like, oh, you got a lot of videos and oh, you really know what you're talking about. Okay, that's great. But I need more ohs happening, right? So
STEM.
so it makes me think about, okay, well, what do I need to tweak? Do I need to tweak my thumbnail? How do I change my thumbnail? How do I change my intro? How do I change this? How do I change that? And I stay on the path and I stay getting better at communicating for today's audience. And something's going to blow up, right?
Absolutely.
Cause I'm working towards this goal of expanding my audience. So no matter who you are, no matter where you are, you have something to share, you have expertise. And even if your expertise is just showing people what you were able to do now over the last 6 months, showing your progress and just showing your journey, that is value. Share your value, share it on socials, share it in a book, grow your brand, and let opportunities start coming to you because you're in a way different position than trying to can you imagine how different it will be? You're applying to a job on LinkedIn. 1,000 people have already applied within the first hour,
Mm, right.
right? As opposed to a recruiter calling you up or DMing you and saying, hey, I noticed your post on blah, 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 blah. I'd love to talk to you. We have a position we'd love to talk to you about.
There we go.
Okay. That's what I'm looking for in my life.
That's it. Yes, come find me.
But we got to be findable.
That's true.
Got to be findable.
That's true.
Got to be findable.
That's
And that's it.
true. Good stuff. Well, Denise, this was very informative and definitely gave me some new perspective. Where can we find you?
Baby, you can find me on YouTube. All right. YouTube. YouTube.com forward slash at writing with Denise Renee. You can also find me on LinkedIn. LinkedIn.com forward slash in forward slash writing with Denise Renee. I be on TikTok, but I don't really be on TikTok.
Are you a creeper on there? You look and then you're like, okay,
I throw
that's
something
right.
over. Like I just post and ghost. Just to have a
I
presence.
feel you.
But I mean, I be on IG. But
YouTube is your spot.
YouTube and LinkedIn, those are my spots. Okay, those are
Okay.
my spots.
Beautiful. Well, thank you. And I feel like we need to do this again because there are so many things to unpack and to talk about in this space and this economy where people feel like they don't have any grounding or anything to hold on to. See, these are the nuggets that help us to like climb ourselves out of holes
Because ain't
or
nobody coming
to
to save us.
no, we're not damsels in distress, and there's not some knight in shining or armor that is coming. He came already, if you know what I'm talking about. Okay. He came and he did that already. The rest is up to us. So beautiful. Well, thank you. And
Thank
I'm so
you.
excited to do this again.
So excited.